Ravi, could you also check with the IT team if they can mute them from their side?
Okay, sir.
I think Dr. Harish is unable to mute himself.
Yes, I'm trying, sir. I'm a little.
Yeah. We'll try and get you some technical help on that, sir. Okay. So, Senior Vice President, I think you found the problem and we've been able to solve it by muting all the speakers. I do no longer hear my echo. So a warm welcome once again. And I'd like to, as our Senior Vice President, Shri Pradeep Multani ji said, mention that Vaidya Trigunaji is unable to join us due to some exigency. So we would like to kickstart the program on sickness to wellness through AYUSH system. We know that AYUSH system has been doing wonders during COVID-19, and we want to further stress on this as a chamber to discuss how it can actually help all of us move towards complete wellness. I'd like to request our Senior Vice President, Shri Pradeep Multani, to kindly give his presidential remarks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Vivek ji. A very good evening to all the participants today to the webinar on sickness to wellness through AYUSH system. We have today with us eminent panelists, Professor Dr. Anup Kumar Thakkar, Director and Vice Chancellor in charge, Gujarat Ayurveda University, Jamnagar, Dr. D.B. Narayana, Chief Scientific Officer, Ayurveda Trust, Bangalore, Professor Anand K. Chaudhary, Professor and Head, Department of Engineer, Kalpana, Ayurvedic Pharmaceutics at Faculty of Ayurveda, Institute of Medical Sciences, BHU, Varanasi, Dr. Harish Kumar Verma, President, Best Ayurveda Limited, Toronto, Canada, and Dr. Harsh Nigam, Senior Homeopathic Physician from Kanpur. We are also delighted to have with us Dr. Ashok Khanna, former President of PHDCCI. Mr. Arvind Varchasvi, Chair, AYUSH Committee, PhD Chambers, and Managing Director, Shri Tattva. Mr. Jitinder Sodhi, Co-Chair, AYUSH Committee, PhD Chambers, and MD, AYUSH Herbs Private Limited. Mr. Arjun Multani, Co-Chair, Committee of PhD and Vice Chairman of Multani Farms Limited. And today's session moderator, Mr. Vivek Sehgal, Assistant Secretary General, PhD Chambers. Ladies and gentlemen, PhD Chambers has been working as a catalyst for the promotion of Indian industry, trade, and entrepreneurship for the past 116 years. It is a forward-looking, proactive, and dynamic pan-India apex organization as a partner in progress with industry and government. PhD Chamber, with a special focus on MSMEs, works at the grassroots level with strong national and international linkages for propelling progress, harmony, and integrated development of the Indian economy. Within AYUSH, drug therapies play an important role in curing disease and maintaining health. These drugs comprise of natural molecules which are better absorbed and utilized in the human body and produce effect without adverse drug reaction in comparison to the synthetic molecules. Modern medicine has recognized the rejuvenating and anti-aging properties of a few vitamins and other molecules, while it largely ignores the need to stay young and disease-free for years together. AYUSH systems can go a long way in taking care of living disease-free years together due to the natural molecules in them. Our traditional system of medicine has always been prevalent not only in India, but across the globe as well. India is believed to be the rapidly growing medical tourism destination globally. The low-cost medical care has attracted people from far across the globe. Apart from corporate hospitals attracting patients, it is also known for its rich heritage, coupled with its own system of medicine such as Ayurveda and yoga. These two systems of therapies are very much popular in some of the Indian states, especially in Kerala and some of the North Indian states such as Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Rajasthan, UP, etc., which are fast becoming the healing hubs for Ayurvedic and other systems of Indian medicine. The outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic challenged the healthcare systems globally. Worldwide, researchers and clinicians are struggling with this crisis. The pandemic has accentuated the need to strengthen health systems and accelerate research and development programs. Modern medical care and health systems are being tested to the hilt for effective management of COVID-19. However, there are several gaps. We must remember the principle in medicine that prevention is better than cure. One possible cause for lower rates of morbidity and mortality in India could be the use of immunity promoting interventions from the ancient traditional systems of medicine involving Ayurveda, yoga and naturopathy, Unani Siddha, Sova Rigpa and homeopathy, and several home remedies based on traditional knowledge and herbs like haldi, ajwain, kali mirch, which have a prominent place in our kitchens. Today we have dignitaries from the AYUSH system who will guide us further on the subject sickness to wellness through AYUSH systems. On behalf of PhD Chambers, I once again welcome you all and seek your active participation on this important discussion. Thank you. Jai Hind and God bless everyone.
Thank you very much, Senior Vice President, for your presidential remarks, as well as setting the tone for this very important webinar, considering that we have already gone through 2 COVID waves, and hopefully not, we are looking at or facing a 3rd wave sooner than later. I'd like to thank Shri Arvind Vartasvi ji, Chair of the AYUSH Committee, for joining us. Thank you very much, sir. I'd like to now invite you for giving your industry remarks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Vivek ji. Pradeep Multani ji, pranam. It's a pleasure to be here. Vivek ji, of course, Anand Chaudhary ji, D.B. Narayan ji, Dr. Harsh Nikam, Harish Kumar ji, and also Arjun Multani, my co-chair. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you. Like what Pradeep ji also mentioned, that this particular pandemic has really taught us the relevance of every medicinal system that what we have to date. We've really been humbled by this pandemic to see that how all systems of medicine come together and put the person or the human being at first to see that how the illness can be treated. We've seen that a whole lot of scientific evidences have been showcased by the AYUSH systems in the last 1 year. Some of it has already been done before, and there is an avenue to see that how they could be showcased. This particular seminar here really shows that how the entire world is coming through and also attending to the aspect of being healthy, because it's just not, and the beauty is that Ayurveda as a system of medicine goes to the root cause. The Ayurveda systems go to the root cause and tell us that exactly what is the matter that is actually causing this particular symptom. So going from a symptomatic sort of a system to a root cause based system, I think that's something that what the entire AYUSH systems have always championed. We've noticed that during this pandemic that all these systems, be it AYUSH systems or the allopathic systems, have come together, and we've seen the entire health community coming together and really seen that how as one humanity can we really tackle this particular pandemic that has taken the entire world by storm. I really feel that a whole lot of other ailments that are coming out of this particular pandemic, the AYUSH systems do have a whole lot of solutions for this. And today, I would like to take the opportunity to also listen to such stalwarts here in the entire fraternity to showcase that how one can really attend to one's health going forward. We've seen that even the ministry has come out with so many steps, right from the AYUSH 64 Two, also coming out with different protocols to really see that how all systems can work together. I feel that there's a whole lot that can be done, and through the people here with the sort of experience that what each one of you bring across onto the table, we're all very happy to listen and really put across some really strong steps to see that how the IUS systems can really contribute to one's health going forward. As what Pradeep ji also mentioned before, that the entire IUS systems are just not about going to a particular illness and also treating that, but also see that how we could prevent these illnesses. A whole lot of these illnesses are lifestyle disorders, and that's where the entire IUS systems bring across so much importance to lifestyle and lifestyle changes, right from what you eat, when you eat, how you eat, what is the lifestyle, when to exercise, when to sleep. All these things are there in the entire IUS systems, and I really feel that we need to champion this across to people. I also see that Anupji also has joined us in right now. Pleasure to see you, Anupji. Thank you very much for joining us over here. And I think with these few words, Vivekji, I would like to hand it over to this entire erudite panel, and happy to listen to all of them. Thank you very much, and wishing all of you the very best of health, and also to your families and also to your entire teams. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Arvindji. Indeed, a very important point that how all the systems of medicine have come together during this pandemic, and how we can actually forge ahead to take it forward and face the third wave. Hopefully not, but we are seeing it more or less as coming as per the reports which we hear in the news. I like to welcome our former president, Dr. Ashok Khanna. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. And Dr. Ashok Khanna, I recently learned, is actually a doctorate in alternate sciences, as I was told by him today in the morning while I was talking to him. And he's also a ardent follower of Art of Living and spearheaded the operations and the founder for Sri Tattva, actually Sri Ravi Shankar's Art of Living in North India. So very nice to have you, sir. It's a pleasure. I'd also like to welcome Professor Dr. Anup Thakkar, Director and Vice Chancellor in charge for the Gujarat Ayurveda University at Jamnagar. Thank you very much, Anupji. Really a pleasure to have you here with us this evening. Taking the program forward, since Padma Bhushan Vaidya Devendra Trignaji is not able to join us, I'd like to invite Professor Anup Thakkar, the Director and Vice Chancellor from Gujarat Ayurveda University, to kindly share his thoughts on such an important and a vital topic today. Over to you, sir.
Thank you for a very cordial, introduction, and giving me opportunity to share my views with the stalwarts and august audience today. With D.B. Narayanji and Arvind Vachaspati and my dear friend Professor Anand Chaudhary ji from the Banaras, and all other dignitaries who are present over here today. Actually, the topic today has been selected is a very nice topic: sickness to wellness. This COVID has blessings in disguise. I would say that kind of thing has happened. Till date, we were believing that Ayurveda and all other traditional system of medicine are only useful in the non-communicable diseases and all that things. But COVID has shown that even Ayurveda and yoga even can be helpful in the communicable diseases also. And that has proven very well. How much time I would, means I have, may I know? Can I take 10-15 minutes? Then I would like to share some slides.
Yeah,
It will
10
be
minutes.
interesting because
yes, 10 to 12 minutes. Sure, please. Let me
yes.
know in case you have a problem in sharing. We'll ask the IT team to enable it.
Sure. Thank you.
We can see your
Is it
PPT.
visible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Please go ahead.
So actually, the coronavirus is the new reality, and we will have to learn to live it, live with it. That WHO has officially said in May or June, I think, after a lot of studies, and that is the reality. Our own Prime Minister also has said to our in second or third speech during the COVID that we have to learn to live with when the lockdown was open, and that is the reality. And second wave just has completed, and the third wave we are expecting. We have to learn to live with the coronavirus. And so, what is the way out? I think the immunity is the way to live with the coronavirus or any infection. There are n numbers of infections, bacterias and virus and fungus and whatnot. But you cannot, go for vaccines for all the things all the time. And when the problem happens, you start the research and you start try to find out the solution. That cannot be the solution. The solution is the protection. Protect your fort, protect your own body from all this attack. That is the only way out. And there where the Ayurveda and yoga and other systems, traditional systems comes. Usually there is a balance between immunity and infection. When your immunity is high or maintained, whatever the infection you get, you won't get disease. But if your immunity gets down, if it is lows down, then the infection will grow and you will have a problem. I will not take much time with the PPT, but sometimes, pictures speaks a lot than the words, and that's why I'm showing this. Uh, you know, we know about the superbugs. We all are facing this problem of the superbugs. This is the picture about that one bacteria is going on, and one person is coming from the side, another bacteria that take this genome RNA in your side, and you will be, you will be protected for every antibiotics. Penicillin was a top on those days. In those days, this picture was Miss Carton was prepared, and so he says that imbibe this, and you will be safe. No antibiotic can touch you. And the same problem we are facing today, superbugs. And Dr. Martin Jarvis and Paxson Whitehead says the doctor's dilemma that stimulate the phagocytes. Drugs are delusion. That this is the reality. How long, how many drugs you are going to invent? Stimulate the phagocytes means enhance your immunity. The doctors know very well. Louis Pasteur, the famous scientist, has said that the germ is nothing, the terrain is everything. Because there are n numbers of germs, and it's endless story, as I said. But if you will make a terrain strong, here is your body strong, whatever germs comes to your body. We know many germs are there already in our body, but we are protected because your terrain is strong, your immunity is strong, and you won't get the disease. We also feel that many times we feel that many people gets infection, but means they were with somebody who had a COVID, but they were not infected. Why? Because they were having strong immunity, strong body, strong bala was there. And so the Ayurveda has given the very good concept, what Louis Pasteur has said. It has been said 5,000 years back by our scientists, our sages, our rishis, that what is the important is Rutu Kshetra Ambu Bija. Whatever seed is there, if something has to be flourish, there are four factors. Proper seed means here we can consider viruses or bacteria. Strong infection is there. Okay. If you have a strong infection, even if mild infection is there, nothing is going to happen, right? But if even strong infection is there and other three factors are not in favor, that is season, that is the field, means your body, and the nourishing factors. If are not in favor, you are not going to get infected. You are not going to get disease. So Ambu means nourishing factor, like if you are not following, having a proper sleep, you are not having a proper diet, or you are having comorbidities, all these things are there. They are, nourishing factors. And if those are there, then there are chances that that infection, due to that infection, you will get disease. But still, if you have a good immunity, you're filled, your body, your strength is strong, need not to worry. If both factors are there, but if your body is strong, immunity is strong, it will manage both the things and you will not get disease. And that's why, of course, season also plays role. We know that in Vasant and in Sharat, we are supposed to get disease because our immunity at low. According to Ayurveda also, according to Ayurveda, Adam Khan and Visar Kal are there. And according to that, in from October or November to February, we have the maximum strength, and from May end to August end, we have a minimum strength in the body. So according to that, the disease will get, means infection will get overpowered. But the important, if all three factors are favorable, but one factor is not in favor, that is kshetra. If immunity is there, your body is strong, nothing is going to happen. That is reality, and that we are witnessing very well. And there Ayurveda comes, or all the yoga or all other system comes. You know, immunity actually in the modern science, today's conventional system of medicine have a very meager role to play, only limited to vitamin C and zinc. We all know that they'll say that take vitamin C or take zinc and you are immune. But I'm not going to discuss about immunity today here because that is not the topic. But Ayurveda and yoga and other systems have a many ways, manifold ways to enhance the immunity. Even we can work on every individual. For every individual, we have a management to enhance his immunity. So that is the specialty, and we should take the advantage of that strength. Actually, that Vyadhi Bal Virodhitva and Vyadhi Utpad Pratibandhakatvam. Those are two type of, Vyadhi Kshamatva. Chakrapani has given the comment, and it is of two type. Vyadhi Kshamatva and Vyadhi Kshamatva is divided in two. Vyadhi Bal Virodhitva and Vyadhi Utpad Pratibandhakatva. Now, Vyadhi Bal Virodhitva is okay, whatever the phagocytosis and all the things takes place, your body strength is there, all these things is Vyadhi Bal Virodhitva. But even Ayurveda speaks about vaccines also. That is Vyadhi Utpad Pratibandhakatvam. Means disease won't happen, won't occur. Already you have antibodies in your body, and that is Vyadhi Utpad Pratibandhakatvam, to prevent the future development of the disease. That is there. And so Rasayan gives both the things to you. Of course, we need a detail and detailed research in this, but it's interesting. Immunity in Ayurveda is not merely up to the capacity to fight with disease. It includes immunity also. Vaccines also. So types of bal, they have said that is Sahaj bal, that is by default we get at birth. It's genetical. We can't say much more about that. Whatever means, somebody have a strong immunity, somebody have to maintain it with the other options, means they have to take the drugs or exercise and all the things. But some people have a genetically strong immunity, they are blessed. Another is a Kalkrut, that seasonal traits and age. Youngsters and children have a better immunity, but old age, as we get old, immunity gets down. that care we have to take. And third one, which is very important, and that is the specialty here, is the Yukti Kruta Bala. Means by ahar, means Yukti Krutam Punarstad Ahara Chesta Yogajam. Aharasya man sarpirade means nutritive diet. Then Chestaya, that is Uchit Vishram Vyayadi Yoga. Vyayamadi Yoga. Uchit Chesta means whatever you are doing in the proper way, sleeping at proper time, awakening as a proper time, whatever you are doing with a proper posture and everything is maintained, proper vyayam, proper exercise, and uchit vishram. That is also very important. You have to take proper rest also. If that is taken care, you will be, your immunity will at peak. You can be, you can save yourself from the disease. And yoga also they have mentioned, but Chakrapani has given the tika, that is yoga shabdena rasayana prayogam grahyanti. Means here yoga, they want to say that certain rasayan you should take like guduchi, amlaki, ashwagandha, chavanprash. Many things are there. According to your prakriti, according to your age, according to your liking and your bal, you can select with the help of the Vaidya, means with the advice that can be selected, and immunomodulation can be done. So, this in this depth, Ayurveda has, described the immunity and how you can keep yourself disease free. And of course, about wellness, lot many things, because has been said, because modern science is all about the fight with the disease, not to maintain the health. Where the Ayurveda is all about to maintain the health. If you get disease, that is the, you have done pragyaparad, you have not listened to your senses, you have not, let's say, listened to your intellect, then you will get disease. So that is the beauty of Ayurveda and all other sciences. My presentation, I will conclude here. This is the changing scenario. Very interesting slides are there. That in the 2020 before Christ, it was told if somebody get disease, he will say that this first slide says that chew this root and you will be fine. Your disease will gone. But in then 700 AD, when somebody will goes to doctor, the doctor will say that that root is hidden. Recite this prayer, because at those time, the all the Shankaracharyas and in India or all over world, the churches were in the power. So they will say, recite this prayer. Okay, that root is okay, but the prayer will treat you. And then in 1860, it was said that prayer is a superstition. Sip this potion. They were preparing different potions for the treatment. And then in 1940, it was said that that potion is snake juice. Swallow this peel, because then peels were recent invented. And so it was a recent advancement and technology in the medicine. So it was said that take these peels. In 1988, it was said that peel is ineffective. You have to take this antibiotic, because all the pills will not won't treat it. And this is the latest antibiotic. You have to take this. And then in 2002, and I will say in the 2021, it is the truth that antibiotic is artificial. Here, chew this root, take this herb, you will get well soon. That change has come. Again, we have come to back to square one. This COVID has shown to the world that even whatever development is there, still we are there as far as the disease management or health management is concerned, because everything has failed. Since 1.5 years, we are fighting tooth and nail to control the COVID, but still we are fighting. That is the reality. Even in the developed country, with all the technologies, with all the finance and everything. So that is that there is the scope, there is the opportunity, there is the chance that we can show our strength to the world, that what Ayurveda can give to the world, what yoga can give to the world. Of course, many people says that, and in the second wave, we face many casualties on all those things. But still, I believe because Ayurveda was there, because people were taking the Ayurveda, considering the population and considering the health, infrastructure in the country, still we believe that the casualty happened due to COVID is very less in comparison to situation in the India because of this all Ayurveda and yoga and all the traditional system of the medicine that has played a big role. And in future also it is going to recently there was one survey, and then it has survey has told that more than 60% people after COVID has turned towards the Ayurveda and yoga due to this COVID pandemic. So that is the reality. At ITRA also we have done a lot of work. We have recently published a paper in Journal of Evidence Based Integrative Medicine, JEBIM, which is having a 2.1 citation rate. And then in that we have said that there was 994 patient at Ahmedabad, that because it was done in the study was done in the June July. At that time in Jamnagar patients were not there, and them 541 were included in the study group. They were given the Ayurvedic treatment as an add-on with the conventional treatment like Pathyadikvat, Dashmu, Live 64, Yashtimadu, Ganvati, and then the Guru Sanchamni, and the Trikatu. And in the conventional group, there were 221 patients were there. And then, in the study, we found that the first patients who got the Ayurvedic treatment as an add-on, they got relief, means symptomatic relief within 3.66 day, whereas on the conventional treatment, the relief was provided in 5.64 days. So 2 days earlier, the people who got the Ayurvedic treatment as an add-on get relief from the COVID, get negative. So that is the reality. Many studies we have done. We have done study on the Guruchi in the 6 different cities, in AYUSH 64 in the across the road. We have a biggest medical college over here, hospital. And in that also we have done study on AYUSH 64, very encouraging results were there. Right now also we are giving the treatment to the patient of the mucormycosis in that hospital. We have prepared the protocol, and we are getting encouraging results. We will come out soon with the with data also, and many more studies are going on. We are having a Dhanvantri Rath going throughout the Jamnagar in the different area, and has a huge response. Till date we have a 60,000 patient scanned through that Dhanvantri Rath, and many more has benefited. Our doctors are giving services in the GG hospital. We have a COVID care center since 1 year, and till date 500, more than 500 patients we have treated, mild and moderate, and none of the patient has been serious, turned in the serious condition, or has been referred. So that is the reality. So we have a lot of strength. We can do miracles through Ayurveda. Thank you very much for giving me opportunity to share my views. I have taken 5-10 minutes more, but in flow I could not notice it. Uh, uh, thank you. Thank you all to bear with me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor Thakur. Indeed, a very interesting presentation. And not only very knowledgeable, but also the way you actually depicted everything, through use of pictures, and if I can say cartoons, it's made it so interesting. So thank you, Professor Thakur, for giving us your thoughts this evening. It's time for me to invite Dr. DBA Narayan, Chief Scientific Officer of the Ayurveda Trust at Bangalore. Dr. Narayan, I'd like to invite you for your presentation. Over to you, please.
Thank you very much. Human beings have always been wanting to live long and live healthy and happily. So this goal is not just for India, but universal. But the systems of healthcare globally kept on changing and had different focuses as industrialization started happening and the way of living and life changed. And therefore, health was not considered in the true sense of the definition that AYUSH systems have given. And in fact, I must tell this audience today that the World Health Organization's definition of health is what has been Vijaya Togotia, what has been defined in Ayurveda and slightly modified part has been taken as a definition of health. And therefore, it is very important that Indian AYUSH systems have given huge contribution to the healthcare infrastructure, thought process, strategy, and implementation. However, the advancement of biological sciences, chemical sciences, engineering sciences, biotechnology, and all that took place in the 19th century took the center stage away from such traditional knowledge-based strengths and what people were following. And that is why the whole focus of healthcare became illness-centric. They were wanting to find out who is ill and not who is well, who is healthy. Nobody was worried. Everybody was looking at who is ill. And therefore, what can I do to give this guy something to bring him back to health? And there all kinds of technologies like testing, genetic modification, uh, uh, disease identification, diagnostics, surgery, microsurgery. So the whole focus was looking at illness. And illness became, apart from really helping the common man, but also, pardon me for saying this, though I am speaking in PhD Chamber of Commerce, it took out a shape of an industry, including the noble profession of treatment by physicians. And rightly so, everybody wanted to look at it in their own angle, but the patient and the consumer was looked after only when that person is ill and not helping him to go back or reduce the potentiality of illness. The whole journey of looking at illness centric to wellness centric started in United States of America in 1992. In 1992, 166,000 people wrote letters to the President of America through their senators. And then what did they ask? They said, why should I go and take only those things that are approved by United States Food and Drug Administration and given to me by my doctor? Why my democratic rights or my rights as a consumer, as a patient, and as a person interested in preventing becoming sick has been taken away and given to this government body? And I must be allowed to read, understand, imbibe, and take what I feel can help me stay healthy. And that resulted in a regulation called Dietary Supplement Health Education Act, passed by the United States government in 1994. This was the first step of moving away from illness-centric to wellness-centric. So the whole consumers across the globe then started picking up that I must maintain my health. I must take what I think either natural or synthetic to prevent me from becoming sick. And this is nothing different from AYUSH, because the aim of Ayurveda is swastasya swasta rakshanam. That is the first part. How does one who is healthy maintain his healthiness or her health? And then aturasya, whatever it says, that shloka, that is once he becomes sick, then I have medicines. Unfortunately, the term Ayurveda, even in India, got misunderstood, misrepresented, mismarketed, mispromoted, basically to become a medicine. Any consumer you ask, I am taking Ayurvedic medicine. Nobody talked about the wellness aspect of Ayurveda and all the important things. So this change started following what happened in America, which was immediately followed up in Japan, then in Australia, then in China, and also in India. So this illness-centric healthcare has to move to wellness-centric. And there, sitting amongst the stalwarts of Ayurveda in this webinar, I'm not an Ayurvedic Vaidya, I am a pharmaceutical scientist, but I have sat at the feet of senior gurus and Vaidyas of Ayurveda. I have tried to learn the Ayurvedic part, not the full diagnostic and treatment, but at least as it comes to their recipes, botanicals and products, and look at it from a pharmaceutical scientist view of looking at its quality, safety, and efficacy, etc. And therefore, I can make a bold statement here that AYUSH systems, dravyas, I use the word dravya means something which is beneficial for whatever, has a huge role to play. And today I don't have to say this, even in a place like Bangalore where I stay now, I see more chemist shop getting closed down and converting into Ayurveda drugs dispensing stores. I see a larger number of chemist shop breaking it up into one for allopathic drugs that they sell, and the other is full of Ayurvedic products which they are also dispensing. And I see more and more well articulated with beautifully decorated boards, as good clinics as any surgeon would have, run by Ayurvedic physicians, including many of them, about 10 to 15% of them have also got the full therapy centers where the Panchakarma treatment and the various other treatments are offered. So there is a wave happening. And at this juncture, I must also refer to the unnecessary debate that takes place in the media, whether it is print media or TV or everywhere. People are questioning where is the evidence, where is the thing that to show that these Ayurvedic herbs or recipes or products actually provide the benefit. I think if today PhD chambers, I would strongly recommend to get a survey conducted across the country in a statistical sampling size. I can easily tell you that 70% to 80% of the common man on the street, even partly educated housewives, working women, working people, office goers, educated people working in the IT sector or whatever sector, elderly people, they don't have this question in their mind. They no longer ask, are Ayurvedic products sold in the market of good quality? Are they safe? Are they effective? They don't ask because they believe in that. And that belief is what PhD Chamber of Commerce should strengthen, because India is one of 3 countries in the globe that has got the history of documented safe and efficacy so well written in our all Ayurvedic books and recognized by the Act of Parliament in our Drugs and Cosmetics Act. But unfortunately, the Drugs and Cosmetics Act focused only on the medicinal aspect, but never looked at the preventive, protective aspect of maintaining of health, which is the strength. And as a pharmaceutical scientist, I am very proud to say that amongst the Ashtanga Ayurveda, Rasayana is the most important contribution that Ayurveda has given to the whole global mankind. Rasayanas are the recipes and individual herbs and minerals that actually help in preventing and protecting and maintaining the health. This is an area that has been studied in the last few years. And next in the ladder, if you go to a corner physician, even if he is an allopathic trained physician, they also don't ask you, where is the evidence? Show me the clinical trial. They also say, yeah, I have used this herb. I have used Chavanprash. I have given this preparation, and that has helped my patient to get back to health much faster, in addition to whatever I treat. They are already adopting. I can tell you from my experience from my Dabur days in 1991 till today, I am a student of Ayurvedic herbs, recipes, plants, formulations, and so much of work we have done. And in 1991, I went to a very senior doctor in Mumbai. I was thrown out of his clinic very first moment. No, I don't want to do any study on Ayurvedic products. But today, every day, every other day, I get a call from some MBBS or MD qualified physicians. Hey doc, can you tell me what can I add to for this herb or this particular disease? What is there in Ayurveda I would like to use? So the whole scenario has changed. So illness centric to wellness centric is happening across. Who are these people who are demanding evidence? And they want the gold standard evidence of randomized, double blind, placebo controlled trials. And they are, I don't blame them, they are the key opinion farmers. In most of the industrial circles, this term is used. KOFL, key opinion farmers, are the leading MBBS, MD doctors. They're right, because they have been trained to look at everything from the biomedical science and pharmaceutical science angle. They have not been trained to look at it holistically. So Ayurveda has a role to play, and PhD Chamber of Commerce should take up this role to talk about integrated use of healthcare system. Each system has their own strengths. Today's drug-based therapy, surgery-based treatment, diagnostic-based understanding of the etiology of diseases, why it happened, what organ could have gone wrong, what can I do? All that is very important, and let them use that. But those who want to maintain health and prevent from getting to a doctor or a hospital must have access to this. So each system has its strength, and India is rightly, now in the current government setup, is rightly looking at adding AYUSH systems and their practices and their dravyas, that is the herbs, minerals, and the rasayanas, the products, to support them to maintain health. If you again conduct a survey, nobody would want to go to a hospital today. Everybody wants to prevent themselves from becoming sick. And therefore, healthcare system has to actually focus on prevention and protection. And I think I can go on talking a large number of important things that one can think of when AYUSH systems are incorporated. Only one word of caution I want to give to the sector of AYUSH, whether it is the governmental sector, whether it is the industry sector, whether it is the Vaidya sector. Please do not misunderstand me. I think the sector and the systems must evolve to prevent exaggerated claims, prevent misleading claims being made on what AYUSH can offer. In fact, this pandemic has challenged, and I am very happy, and I want to congratulate the whole sector, congratulate the industry bodies, congratulate the Ministry of AYUSH. They have looked at and helped the sector to generate a large number of scientifically evaluated data. And I know when I go to clinical trial registry, I see 266 clinical trial registered on AYUSH products and treatments and herbs This is a good sign because evidence is getting generated. But at the same time, what kind of evidence? For whom are we generating this evidence? And what kind of statements can I make based on this study has to be very carefully studied. English is not our mother tongue, but therefore we always use an English language way of making claims or interpreting studies that are done. And unfortunately, we end up doing a lot of wrong things. So try to convey what actually the study was and what did it reveal. Some of them are not the gold standard double-blind studies. So don't make too strong claims. Many of them can fall into an area called observational studies. They are very good studies. Many of them can be put into a basket of peer studies. 100 Ayush doctors have used Samsamani Bhatti and they have found this benefit, document that, and that is a very interesting way of generating evidence. So therefore, one aspect is the sector should talk to each other amongst themselves, along with the Ministry of Ayush, which is doing a yeoman's job at this time to put Ayush in the center stage. And I also want to give a suggestion that a large number of Vaidyas are there in this seminar, and in this difficult period, a number of patients have been treated with only Ayush system and no allopathic drug or surgery or any others have been done. And I keep reading about it. And therefore, please put them up all together and project it to common man. And unfortunately, media has to be taken along with you when you talk to them. PhD chamber can do a yeoman's role to put positive stories of what all Ayush has done. And lastly, it is very difficult to generate data that taking something actually prevents you from getting sick. It takes a long time for the study. It takes a lot of effort, and doing a study for 15 days or 1 month or 2 months or 3 months cannot entitled to make prevention, claims. Use the Grantha references for making prevention claim, but based on whatever data, if you make claim, Ayush, I think, is at a tipping point now. It has already reached and it will get absorbed more and more, even if KOF, key opinion farmers, don't give their stamp of approval. But the consumers and patients are giving Ayush system their stamp of approval. They are using it, and support them with whatever high quality products that you can provide to them and information that you can provide to them. So the topic of illness,
Dr. Narayan, I'd
wellness
just
is
like to
very, very
interrupt.
important.
Yeah.
And therefore, please use this forum to have such debates and put them on a path so that Indian citizens can fall less sick and stay healthy. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Narayan, for those very, very important points which you have highlighted, and we made a note of that. And as a chamber, we would like to definitely take them forward with the consent of our other committee members. Now, time for me to invite Professor Anand K. Chaudhary. He is the professor and head for the Department of Ayurvedic Pharmaceutics and the Faculty of Ayurveda at the Institute of Medical Sciences, BHU Varanasi. Professor Chaudhary, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Vivek, and kindly allow me to share my slides here. It is not allowing.
Yeah, can I request the IT team to do that? And my humble request to all the esteemed speakers to kindly stick to the timelines so that we are not delayed beyond the point on the program. So is the IT team enabling the share screen for Professor Chaudhary?
No, till not, it is not So I'm unable to share.
Have you sent your
Right.
presentation to us, Professor Chaudhary, in advance?
I'm just checking with the IT team. Give me 1 minute, 30 seconds.
Yes.
Yes, now it is. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the last first loud now. Yes, now whether my slides are visible there?
Yes, we can see them.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. So, respected co-chair Pradeep Multani ji and my friend and the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Gujarat University Jamnagar, Dr. D.V. Narayanan, and Dr. two other panelists, one from Canada and a homeopathic physician, and Dr. Vivek, yourself, and all learned audience. Yes, as previous two speakers said that this title is very relevant in the contemporary time, that the sickness to wellness through the AYUSH systems. Of course, if you see the screen, and on the screen there is a photo of the WHO, and this event, the biggest high-level event, was organized by the WHO on 22nd June. That what can one do in the primary health care to tackle the COVID? And the opinion, what has been given by the WHO media advisory, and that is really very much encouraging for us, that the WHO is talking about that we can tackle the primary health care with the help of the traditional systems of the medicine of the respective country, people call alternative or the complementary. So WHO slogan of the health for all is very much here, and it is very much true in this pandemic also. Learned colleagues, if you see here, there is a publication, and it is really very much interesting that it is from the city of the Dr. D.V. Narayanan, Bangalore, NIMHANS. There are the 8-9 authors. Out of them, 5 are the MBBS, 4 are the BAMS. And they are talking about the fact which people are talking the quality, safety, efficacy of the Ayurvedic medicine. They are talking about the heavy metals in the Indian traditional system of the medicine, a systematic scoping review, and the recommendations for the integrative medicine practices. See, the title of this webinar is the Sickness to Wellness Through AYUSH System. And this paper from the Bangalore, in the Journal of the Alternative and the Complementary Medicine, just 2 days back, it was available on the online, and it is the author's copy, which with the due permission from the NIMHANS, I'm quoting here. And they are simply saying that the heavy metals which are targeted regarding the Ayurvedic medicine, about their quality, safety, and their efficacy, especially from the MMR, New or the many other agencies, they are saying that, of course, if these things are prepared properly, there is no side effects or any ill effect. And these are the medicines, what Dr. Narayana said a few minutes back, that the Rasayana, and the one Rasayana is the very good Rasayana, or these mineral and the metallic medicines. And here they are saying that the world is looking for the integrative system of the medicine, means simply that the whole AYUSH systems of the medicine, the best of the Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha, homeopathy, along with the conventional system of the medicine. And this paper from the NIMHANS Bangalore, appearing 2 days back only, is suggesting all these things with the data and what people are copying, the KOF or the that is the evidence. Dear learned colleagues, here we are looking for the Ayurveda. Here just I invite your attention that which kind of the Ayurveda is more popular nowadays. The classical Ayurveda, what we are studying through our Samhitas, Dhatreyi, Laghutreyi, the contemporary Ayurveda. In India, we are going for that. Yes, with the advancement of the science, technology, and the application of the core science in the establishing, revalidating of the all Ayurvedic classics, their granthas, what have been given for even for the treatment protocol, even for the manufacturing of the medicines. So this Indian classical Ayurveda, based in our simply our old classics and the contemporary Ayurveda of the last 50, 60 years, where people are making a lot of changes, which may be welcomed and some may not be welcomed, the contemporary Ayurveda of the India side. Along with that, this PhD Chambers of the Commerce and the Industry, just I'm inviting the attention of all learned members that the Ayurveda has been taken in a different way in the different continents. If you see it's Health Australia, they are talking about the Ayurveda, but they're using the word herbal and somehow something Ayurveda also. Some practitioners are practicing there in the Melbourne, Sydney, and they are writing the Ayurvedic medicines and the Ayurveda. If you come to the USA, it is an open secret that in USA, Ayurveda is very much established. And as the previous speaker was talking, in the 1992, they written to the US president about the wellness and the whole history. I have gone through the International Ayurveda Foundation. And this is a very true point which has been raised by the Dr. D.B. Narayanan, that people are talking about the wellness. And the same way in the European Union also, the market is huge and acceptance is very much fast, and specifically in this pandemic. Of course, the other way of Ayurveda is also moving in the Arab and the African countries. My simple way is this: the Ayurveda, specifically out of these AYUSH systems, is talk of the world now. It's propagation by the Honorable Prime Minister, it's advocacy by the Honorable Prime Minister to the WHO or any other leader in its abroad visits. He talked about the potency of the traditional medicines of Ayurveda, mostly its therapeutic view, its philosophical view, and of course the Ayurvedic medicines. So with these points, if we are moving from the sickness to wellness with the Ayurveda, certainly we are doing a very good job. And really, PhD Chambers must be congratulated for organizing this webinar. The sickness to wellness may be attained how? How from the Ayurvedic points? Whether the Ayurveda, what we have, the holistic human approach, the best, the only one system of the medicine, I can say, which is addressing the whole human as one unit, not the different segments. Of course, we are doing the things with the disease-specific approach also. The world is looking towards, as Dr. Thakur was talking about, the add-on therapy and the many more things in the pandemic. Then the complementary approach, the supplementary approach, adjunct approach, and of course, the full alternative system of the medicine. As previous speakers told, that so far I'm just referring them so I can save the time. The alternative approach also is there for the treatment of the pandemic COVID. There are the many centers who has not used any drug of any other system of the medicine, only Ayurveda, and they got the success. And see here, this is the proactiveness of the ministry. Ministry should be admired, and all the learned our Komar Bhritta Visheshagya pediatrician who are there with the guidelines of the third wave that is going to affect mostly on the children. And here also the Ayurvedic view of here is mainly to maintain the immunity and good promotion of the health of the child, along with the many other things which I am going to talk the next 2-3 minutes. And then certainly we can go for the sickness to the wellness. Of course, only philosophy and the doctrines or the speeches will not make anything. There is a need of a dravya, that is the medicine. And Ayurveda pharmaceutics here is the need of the time. If you see, as a medicine, you can see as a dietary supplements, as a medicinal food, as a functional food, as nutraceuticals, the most promising market nowadays for the wellness headings, and the cosmeceuticals also, because it is the first desire of any human to look beautiful, to look handsome like that. So the cosmeceuticals market of the Ayurveda is also booming along with its medicinal part. Here I am just showing a research paper, and it is from the PGI in Chandigarh. It is also just 1 week back into the village, and they are talking about the 22 medicinal plants, 36 CTRI on those 22 medicinal plants, and they are just convincing the evidence with the evidence that yes, these medicinal plants are really, really very much helpful in the treatment of the COVID. Of course, in the end of the conclusion, authors are saying here that the only Ayurvedic medicines or the only Ayurvedic herbs should not be given for a COVID patients. But here our experience is contradicting their claim, because in our hospitals, we are able to treat our patients of the mild to moderate degree with the only Ayurvedic interventions. So the providing traditional Indian medicinal plants for the management of the novel coronavirus disease, a systematic review by a organization of repute of the modern conventional medicine, or people call modern medicine, like the PGIMR Chandigarh, it is boosting our courage, and it is encouraging that we are evidence-based. And here, just the difference of the language, that something is written in Sanskrit and something is written in English, and the English understanding people are talking about the evidence, and we are saying that is the Aptopradesh and that is the ours. So the worldwide wellness, yes, the world is looking for the wellness. If you see the approach of the WHO, it is health for all. And it has been extended from 1978 Alma-Ata, then it is the 2030. The scope is like this. And the traditional medicine here, the strategy is the 2014 to 2023, and WHO has started the making the next 1 decade strategy to get health for all. And by applying the traditional system of the medicine, there is a clear-cut understanding among all the professionals, health workers, that without using traditional medicine, health for all cannot be achieved. In the same way, the NIH USA, if you see the NICAM to the NCCIS, National Center for the Complementary and Integrative Health, and see this picture is showing you, I invite your attention for the strategic plan by the NIH USA, and they are talking that the mapping pathway research on whole human health, and this is the 2021 to 2025 strategy. And my dear friends, if we talk about the Ayurveda, if we talk about the AYUSH system, and the whole thing is near to the very much our Prakriti and our doctrine or philosophy, which we are practicing since last 5,000 years, and they are calling the precise medicine. So the whole human, the holistic approach is here. And so we are talking about the wellness, not about the illness. And the Niti Aayog also in India is moving on the same way. Ministry of AYUSH is doing the same. And of course, the Niti Aayog has given the document, and they released it into the 2020, that the Vision 2035. If you see in this document, the inner paragraphs, it is a sponsored work by the University of the McMahon, and here they are talking that up to the 2030, a undergraduate course, a specialized postgraduate course, taking all good of the every system of the medicine, total change into the health curricula, education policy. And if this government is there, it may be a reality in the India, like the Chinese medicine or the other place, that the course where the basic knowledge of the each system of the medicine will be provided to every professional health worker. And this is ongoing since 2000 in India, with the Sakta Satkopan article, which my Jamnagar days when I was there, and there was a seminar on the Foundation Day of the 21st July, and that is the point where I heard the whole vision of the alternative therapy. It is the Banaras University also, the Mahamana in the 1904 and the 1912, but it's time to be the integration, and we are moving forward for this. See the advantage attitude. This is the trained in the traditional, this is the member health, Dr. V.K. Paul of the Niti Aayog, and he had made the statement quoted by the PTI that we are in the health sector, says that the looking reform ideas in the health sector. And every learned participant of this webinar, I'm just conveying you, go through this link and you will get that there is the only one thing, that is the take best of the every system. And that is the idea when we can get from the wellness, and we are more close to the wellness. There are some systems which are eradicating disease, but if the question is the definition of the wellness, then prasannatma indriya mana swasthete vidhiyate, that is the idea. If the 18th, if you see here, the CSIR, Platinum Jubilee, and the 18th IAM Foundation, they are all talking about the medicines from the plant. The CSIR DG, Dr. Shekhar Munde and Dr. S.S. Handa, everything, every world is moving towards the plant, and plants means Ayurveda. What I feel, the adorable approach is here, and of course here I quote very much continuity person, Dr. D.B. Narayanan. I admire him, and he taught me 45 minutes on phone the quality aspects when I joined this Banaras University as assistant professor back 14 years. See, the manufacturing licenses, quality safety issue parameters, prescription pattern, price regulation, pharmacovigilance is the main reason for the advancement of the allopathic medicines. The same thing we have to adopt into the AYUSH system of the medicine, then only we can move. Doctrines of the Ayurvedic medicine, just I'm very hurriedly, I'm just go for this promotion of the health, preservation of the healthy status, eradication of disease, maintenance of the mental health, spiritual health, then only this objective from sickness to wellness may be achieved. And here is the one article published for the 7.8 crore readers of the Dainik Jagran by myself on the 9th June that Ayurveda ke kavat se bachon ko rakhein surakshit. That is the dominancy of Ayurveda, how people are accepting it, and we are moving towards the wellness. Market. Yes,
Professor Chaudhary, I'd like to.
Yes, yes, sir. I have not taken 15 minutes. 3 minutes are less. Please do justice with me, Vinay. Okay, the market magnum
It's already
is
15
here.
minutes. Please go ahead and finish it. Thank you.
Okay. The market magnum is here. If you see here, then this is just related to you people. Give me 2 minutes only. The 41% enhancement. 41% enhancement is here. And then if you see the every market, and today, just 3 hours back in the Economist, I got an article where the alternative system medicine are going to be demanded by the 60% of the Americans, and out of those 25% are the youngsters. So the sacking sickness through the AYUSH systems is this, whether Ayurvedic physicians will follow the Ayurvedic doctrines in the clinic, Ayurvedic manufacturing methods will be the advanced in the accordance of the contemporary need, Ayurvedic dose pattern, whether governments promote Ayurvedic regulations, what the things has been addressed by the Dr. D.B. Narayanan, and then only the things are progressive parameters. The Sri Tattva has launched I-64, and if the headings are here, the Ayurveda and the need to transit from alternative to the mainstream, for which we are here, this is the conclusion. And ideal initiation from sickness to wellness through the AYUSH systems, the AYUSH, the medicine, and probably health sector on account of the physical, mental, social, and spiritual needs of the global citizens. Acknowledgement and thanks to the PHDCCI. And if you see here, the Delta variant and the Alpha variant, everything can be addressed by the AYUSH systems. And Vikas wahi to jaan bacha sake. Today's editorial of the Hindustan, everyone is talking about the health sectors, And once again, I'm very much thankful to the PhD chambers for giving me this opportunity. And of course, if I have taken 2 minutes extra, then I apologize for that.
Thank you, Professor Chaudhary, for a wonderful presentation. And as we are trying to stick to the timings as much as possible, I really appreciate your winding it up quickly. Thank you so much. May I now request Dr. Harish Kumar Verma, President, Best Ayurveda Limited from Toronto. I believe somebody is unmuted, so my voice is again echoing back. I'd like to request everyone to mute themselves except the speaker. Thank you very much. I know Dr. Harish Verma has had to, I think, relatively start early in the morning for being with us here. So over to you, Dr. Verma, for your.
Thank you, Vivek ji, and thank you, Dr. Pradeep Multani ji. Namaskar to Dr. Chaudhary ji, Dr. Thakkar ji, Dr. Narayana, and Dr. Nigam ji, and good evening to all viewers in India. Can I share my slides? Please.
Sure, I think Professor Chaudhary is trying to unshare his screen, and as soon as he does that, Thank you, Professor Chaudhary. The IT team may kindly enable Dr. Harish Kumar Verma for enabling his screen share.
Still, I'm unable. Yes, now I can.
Sir, it's done now. You can share your screen.
In the meanwhile, let me announce that we are also joined by our former president, Shri Binay Kumar ji. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
I'm sorry for the delay. Little. Yes, now I can share. Is it visible, Vivek ji?
Yes, we can see your presentation. Please go ahead.
Yes. So, as the topic is sickness to wellness through AYUSH system, I have slightly changed through Ayurveda and modern science. A few days back, I got the message that the topic will be sickness to wellness beyond allopathy. So now I have slightly changed the topic, and I want to emphasize on why integration of Ayurveda and modern science is important. It's not working anyway.
Please,
Anyway, I'll
please
take
go
a few
ahead.
minutes. So, yes, I'm sorry, the slides are not, it's not working. My point is, as nowadays we can see in the media, a lot of fight is going between IMA and the Ayurveda and the yoga practitioners. But I want to emphasize that modern science is equally important. And I practice modern and Ayurveda both in my whole life. And my concern is modern medicine, we can't say it's a stupid science. This is a wonderful science, and it is a legal system of medicine. What is called allopathic system. This is a legal system of medicine all over the world. Trillions of dollars are invested every year for research, and a lot of new things are coming. We can't say it's a stupid science. One. The second, instead of fighting, I am of the opinion that we should cooperate with each other. We know each science has the limitations and the strengths. If we look at the diagnostic part of modern science, this is fantastic. We can get the evidence, we can differentiate with the new technologies, with the CT scan, MRI, and with all the modern equipments, all the lab tests, we can differentiate easily between the diseases. So as far as diagnosis is concerned, I'm a firm believer we should take help of modern science. On the basis of this, even when I was a student of BMS 30 years back, I wrote a book. This is the book which I wrote, and the basis of this book is modern diagnosis and Ayurvedic treatment. And I'm a firm believer we should take advantage of the modern science for diagnosis. However, the basic principles of Ayurveda are based on Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. I am fully aware, but these as the society demands nowadays evidence of everything, even the courts or the learned people in our society, they all want to know what kind of disease they are having. So we can create evidence with the modern diagnostic methods. But as far as the treatment of any chronic disease is concerned, we can see even the diseases like some autoimmune diseases. I am practicing in autoimmune diseases for the last many years, like in ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, and many others. So we can see there is no cure in allopathic of any autoimmune disease, but rather the new medicines which are coming in the market, like biological medicines, they are very expensive. And the treatment of these autoimmune diseases are going to be very expensive in coming days. So there is a need of our now to integrate both the systems, Ayurveda and allopathy, but we have to respect each other. I want to emphasize on one point. Some of my friends who are allopathic doctors, they usually say we don't have legal rights to prescribe effective, safe, and cost-effective medicines. Once I gone through the Drug Act, and then I realized definitely allopathic doctors, they can't prescribe effective Ayurvedic medicines illegally. So if the government of India is really wants to propagate, really wants to promote Ayurveda all over world, and even the largest sector of health like allopathic sector, they can allow these simple medicines. What we nowadays, there's a one category in Drug Act called Balya and Posha medicines, means the nutritional medicines. They can easily be prescribed by any registered medical practitioner. So I want to bring this in notice of Pradeep Mudani that he is politically connected, and he can talk to his friends that if the government can make amendment in the Drug Act by allowing them that any registered medical practitioner, whether he is registered in Ayurveda, allopathy, homeopathy, or say Sova Rigpa, any pathy, they can use single herbs or the simple Balya Poshak medicines in their practice. This will broaden the base of use of Ayurvedic medicines, and it will also help in popularizing Ayurveda in India and abroad. So this is all my views about how we can, why there is a need for integration of Ayurveda and modern medicine, and allopathic doctors. Instead of fighting with them, we can cooperate with them. Government of India should allow them to use Ayurvedic medicines which are safe, effective, mainly the single herbs. Like single herbs are ashwagandha capsule, tulsi capsule, giloy capsule, Arjuna. They can use it, but they should be allowed legally. That is the reason allopathic lobby or the allopathic doctors, which is a huge health sector in India, so they should be allowed to practice these medicines, and there should be amendment in the Drug Act, and we all uh, uh, practitioners of Ayurveda should write to the government that there should be a cooperation between allopathic and Ayurvedic sector. Thank you, Vivekji. I will not take much time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Verma. And I must share with you at this point of time that We as an AYUSH committee talked about mainstreaming AYUSH way back in 2015, if I remember correctly, and talked a lot about integration and working together of the modern medicine and the AYUSH systems, which actually resulted in a lot of hospitals in India, private hospitals and including AIIMS, having OPDs for the AYUSH systems of medicines along with the modern medicine. So your thoughts and ideas are most welcome. I think time for me to call upon Dr. Harsh Nigam, who's a senior homeopathic physician. And if I am told correctly, he is actually also an MBBS doctor. And who better than him can actually talk about the integration and both the pathies working closer to each other. I'll request the non-speakers to kindly mute themselves. And with that, I hand it over to Dr. Harsh Nigam.
Yeah, could you kindly ask the backhand team to share my slideshow?
So please. Dr. Verma, can I request you to unshare your screen? You should be able to find the icon right on the top of your screen if you hit it with your mouse. Ravi, can you please check with the backend IT team in case it's possible to
Yes, sir. From IT,
help
they are
Dr.
provided
Verma?
the shared screen. Yes, sir.
Okay. We can see Dr. Harsh Nigam's screen now. You might like to put it on full view, please.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
So before starting my presentation, thank you, PhD Chamber of Commerce, for inviting me. It seems that homeopathy is in a minority in AYUSH, but amongst all the elders, I would first like to remember my Guru and would start by praying to the Guru as ध्यान मूलम गुरोर मूर्ति पूजा मूलम गुरो पदम मंत्र मूलम गुरोर वाक्यम मोक्ष मूलम गुरो कृपा. All of you learned speakers and participants are elder to me, and all of you have boundless experience in Ayurveda. And here I am, younger to you in experience, and trying to explain to you what homeopathy is and where it stands in contrast to the modern medicine and with Ayurveda. Now, the more I studied homeopathy, the more I was convinced that homeopathy actually is a branch of Ayurveda. The more I studied, I came to know about a sukti, Vishasya Vish Aushadam. Now, this is a sukti from Ayurveda, and Hahnemann, who propounded homeopathy, was actually a person who knew all about Ayurveda through occult studies. But Hahnemann himself had a major role to play in developing a science which was neglected over the ages in Ayurveda itself. This was called as Sukshma Chikitsa in Ayurveda. Now, Sukshma Chikitsa when I studied about this, is related to the treatment of Sukshma Sharir, the Pranamayi Kosh. Now, homeopathy, if you study it with an Ayurvedic perspective, is the treatment of Pranamayi Kosh, Sukshma Chikitsa. And Nagarjun, he wrote a famous Sukti, and the Sukti was Mardanam Gunvardhanam. जितना मर्दन किया जाएगा उतना औषधि का गुण निकलेगा. But how much Mardanam is needed? Herein, Hahnemann came, and I consider Hahnemann to be a rishi in Indian context. And Hahnemann was a rishi who developed homeopathy as Sukshma Chikitsa. So for me, homeopathy is actually a branch of Ayurveda, a full-blown branch, mathematical branch of homeopathy, of Ayurveda. Now, 23 years ago, my father, who was a leading homeopath, he told me that if you want to be a homeopath, you would have to first become a medical doctor. Because homeopathy is a super specialty. Be a logical medical doctor, study about anatomy, physiology, pathology, pathophysiology, study about how medicine works, and then go into homeopathy if you want to. And I took the plunge. And I'm amazed where my study of homeopathy has taken me. Now see what Hahnemann has to say. The foundation of all scientific wisdom is astute observation and freedom from prejudice. Now, we have to be unprejudiced observer. This is something which is now lacking on both the sides, on all sides. People have become prejudiced. People are not talking about the beauty of other sciences. They are always talking about their own science. Now, Hahnemann's concept of disease is very simple. In health, the spirit-like vital force, the dynamism that animates the material body, rules and retains all parts of body in harmonious vital functions and sensations, so that our indwelling, reason-gifted mind can freely employ this healthy living instrument for the higher purpose of our existence. Now, this is very similar to WHO's definition of health, but it takes you a step further, because it tells you about the higher purpose of your own existence. And then he says, in this concept of disease, that disease are nothing more than alteration of the state of health of a healthy individual, which express themselves by morbid or disease signs. Now this is true, and he says, when I say that these are disease derangements are variation of man's state of health, then I'm not giving you any hyperphysical explanation. What I intend to say is that there is no mechanical or chemical alteration. It comes later. The mechanical or chemical alteration would always come later. It is not dependent upon the material morbid substance, but diseases are spirit-like dynamic derangement of life, which means the disease phenomena takes place at the level of the Pranamayi Kosh, at the level of prana, which he named as vision in German, which was translated in homeopathic literature in English as vital force, which is the cornerstone of homeopathic genesis of disease. It is deranged vital force which causes disease, and pathology comes later, which is very true. Now in medical science we say pathophysiology comes first, then pathology comes. Then Hahnemann was also the first in modern medical world to try the effect of herbs or medicines on healthy individuals. So Hahnemann is the father of modern pharmacology. This is written in books of modern pharmacology also. And Hahnemann asked a specific question: what reaction does a drug produce in a healthy human subject? And he then, what is now known as the famous Cinchona experiment, he came to know. He drank cinchona bark himself. And then when he drank it, he had the same symptom of malaria, which was very common in his area. Then his query was, does the bark produce the same symptom as it removes? Is the specific curing power of the drug founded on such a principle? Do all drugs uniformly excite an artificial disease to that which they remedy? And the answer that he gave was, a drug produces an artificial disease. Like any other foreign material, it produces a specific stimulus. Its only curative effect lies in eliciting a reaction from the organism. And Hahnemann therefore calls medicines as artificial disease-producing potents. And it's true. All medicines are poisons. All medicines, they produce some kind of effect in the system, and the curative effect is the effect that the immune system or the pathophysiological systems, they bring about. Now, this was as clear as daylight to him. The second query was, what is the most suitable methods of employing these medicines for the cure of natural disease? The answer was simple simile minimum. So he propounded two laws. The first law was similia principle, and the second law was the homeopathic law of prescribing. The similia principle was similia similibus curantur. Sama samayati, सम जो चीज सिमिलर है वही सिमिलर को ठीक करेगी. And the dose should be simple, which means single. It should be similar and it should be in minimum quantity. Let similar be treated with similar by single remedy in minimum dose. This is the crux of homeopathic philosophy. Now coming to the position of homeopathy within medicine. Now you must understand that as doctors, there are only three ways to help sick individuals. You can reduce the strain on patient's function. Suppose there is a viral load of COVID, you can help to kill the virus to reduce the strain on patient's function. You can support those functions. You can support lung by ventilators, or you can support dipping oxygen level by oxygen, or you can regulate the functions. Now, what are the five main principles of medicinal actions? First is substitution. You replace a missing substance. Now, suppose somebody is having iron deficiency anemia. Give iron. You replace missing substance. The other is compensation. You balance defective systems, like somebody is having edema and it is nephrogenic edema. So you give a diuretic so that you drain out edema. Then suppression. Suppose somebody is having an undesirable allergic response. You give a cortisone or an anti-allergic to suppress that allergic reaction. And the other is targeting. When you kill an invading organism, like an antibiotic for a bacteria or an antiviral for a virus. Then the last and the most important is regulation. You tune pathophysiological processes, especially immunity, and herein comes the role of homeopathy. Homeopathy is the best known regulatory medicine. Now, medicine today, if you have a broad overlook of medicine today, then you have three types of medicinal systems wherein you are trying to reduce the strain, you are trying to support the functions in, say, ICU setting or in a hospital setting, and then you are suppressing undesirable reactions by antibiotics, antihistaminics, antidiarrheals, anti this and anti that. But homeopathic medications have a regulative effect. They act on the central controlling processes of the organism and they tune the mistuned organism. And this is done by the following way. All living beings have inbuilt regulatory mechanisms through which it maintains a steady state optimum health, which is called as homeostasis. Now, homeopathic medicines, when this homeostasis is disturbed by any way, by emotional disturbance or by an invading virus like COVID, homeopathic medicines, they apply a stimulus. The organism improves its auto-regulation by reacting to this homeopathic medication. Now, homeopathic medicine does not replace missing substance. Homeopathic medicine does not compensate a component system by a direct route, like we do not have iron in homeopathy. That is classical homeopathy. We cannot replace iron. We can regulate iron metabolism. Homeopathy does not counteract reactive processes and does not suppress them. It is not antipathy. It is homeostathos. Now, there have been several arguments against homeopathy, that homeopathy medicines are placebos, they have only water and alcohol mixture, and their mode of action is unknown. But there has been modern evidence in favor of homeopathy, and the best known evidence in favor of homeopathy is that homeopathy has been growing and it is the second most used complementary and alternative medicine in the world. So in spite of so much opposition, it has not gone away. This is the most important evidence for homeopathy. Now, what is the homeopathic approach? Now, the homeopathic approach is the sick and not the sickness. In homeopathy, we take every individual as a unique individual. This one particular individual is to be seen by the physician as a whole, consisting of a body, mind, and spirit. Now, this individual, this sick individual, has a sickness on a physiological level and a sickness on a psychological level. The regulatory processes we have been considering are more at the physiological level and are being managed well by allopathic medicines mostly. They are also managed by Ayurvedic medicines nowadays, because Ayurvedic medicines are safer than allopathic medicines. But at the psychological level, psychosomatic medicines are full of side effects. So, as psychosomatic medicine, what we have come to know now is only psychotherapy. But homeopathy has a beautiful role to play as a psychosomatic medication. And homeopathy integrates. Homeopathy endeavors to integrate the disciplines considered with the treatment of the mind and those considered with the treatment of the body. The testing, selection, and action of a homeopathic medicine always covers the symptoms and signs in body, mind, and spirit, and these are considered as totality. So if you go to a homeopath, classical homeopath, he would mostly talk about totality of disease. This considers the mental symptoms, the general or the hypothalamic symptoms, and the sickness or the pathological symptoms of the body. But there are limits of homeopathy. Now, the problem with every science now is that we don't understand the limits of our own science, and we try to play magic. Now, the limits of homeopathy were explained by its father, Hahnemann himself. He says, in most urgent cases where danger of life and imminent death allow no time for the action of homeopathic remedy, you must go for emergency medication. He also says, in sudden accidents in previous healthy individuals, you must go for emergency medicines. And in surgical cases where surgery is needed, you must go for surgery. Then what are the possibilities of homeopathy? And here I must tell you that there can be no other means other than homeopathy for dynamic, which by dynamic I mean immune related non-surgical diseases besides homeopathy.
Dr. Nigam, I'll request you to finish it in the next 2 minutes, please.
That I would do. Now, this was 250 years before, when many of today's doctors, which were called allopaths then, they now practice antipathy. They are prescribing all anti-drugs. But they now believe in holistic approach. They believe and they know that diseases are multifactorial, and especially chronic diseases are multifactorial. They are aware of their adverse effects and they want to avoid it. They are open to other therapeutic approaches like yoga, Ayurveda, acupuncture, and homeopathy. But 250 years after Hahnemann, many homeopaths, and I'm criticizing my own faculty, do not discriminate, therefore offer magic, use mixtures of medicine as opposed to single remedy advised by Hahnemann, are not ready to work as a team player in managing disease, are not ready to adapt, especially immunization. So what we need today is, we need integrated medicine. Now, in integrated medicine, you must remember that homeopathy is regulatory therapy. When I started homeopathy, I had a dream in my mind that integrated medicine is the future of medicine, and the future has arrived with COVID. The medical health provider of the future of now would have to be a holistic health provider who would have to advise his patients which therapy is best suited to his disease, as I do to my patients. Integrated medical umbrella would have to have orthodox medicine, surgery as a different stream, homeopathy, immunization, herbal and rasayan shastra, yoga, and most important, wherein wellness comes, Ayurvedic way of living. You cannot delete Ayurvedic way of living from integrated medical umbrella. Just 1 minute, we tried homeopathy in wave 1 and wave 2. I have the result of wave 1. We tried homeopathy in 108 cases. There were 2 dropouts. 10 cases, there was 0 mortality. All the cases were mild to moderate. We did not try in wave 1 any case which was of severe category. And mind you, in wave 1, government was not amenable for treatment of COVID through homeopathy, which was a fallacy. And I must admit, and I must congratulate the government now with the effort of AYUSH. They have now allowed homeopathy as a treatment modality for mild and moderate disease. And I am sure that the results are going to be astounding with homeopathy and Ayurveda as a treatment modality with in cases of COVID in future, whether wave 3 or wave 4 comes or not. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Nigam. I think you've given out some very pertinent points and how things have changed, especially between COVID-1 and COVID-2, especially regarding homeopathy. And I'm sure it'll help the COVID patients in wave 3, which we all hope and pray doesn't happen. I'd like to now invite our former president, Dr. Ashok Khanna. As I said earlier, Dr. Ashok Khanna is also a doctorate, in fact, in alternate sciences, which I got to know recently. And of course, he is a former president of the chamber and would like to share his thoughts on this particular topic. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vivek. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
I would like to congratulate Chamber for organizing this meet. And I just read this morning about this circular. Mr. Pradeep Multani is there. Our senior vice president, is he there?
I think he got disconnected. Let me just check.
Okay. And our chair, Arvind, is he there?
No, Arvindji had to leave, sir. In fact, he had
Okay.
informed me that he may have to leave.
Okay. Anyway, I have no such specific agenda and no such speech. All I want to say is that I happen to be, I'll just share some personal thoughts. And this is for the consideration of the speakers, learned speakers who spoke so well. I feel I was here just to listen and learn, because I am more as a patient rather than as a doctor. This doctorate is honorary to me. I have not done any research. It was honored to me by Bombay University, and I accepted it. It so happens that perchance, perhaps this is a divine intervention. It was on this subject. They gave me the doctorate on this. I have nothing to add or subtract on that. However, I must say that many years back, there was I'm from Chandigarh, there was a exhibition here in one of the parade grounds, and I happened to go with my wife. It was by AYUSH Ministries many years back. I was thrilled because as a patient, friends, you are all very learned, you have done so much research. I felt whether it is allopathy or is homeopathy or is Ayurveda, as a patient, I want to be well. And the topic today, sickness to wellness, very much suits me. And I feel that whichever pathy it is, this last speaker, I just heard it. I think he summed it up very nicely. I think it was Dr. Nigam who said, let all the pathies be together under one umbrella and let the doctor say what exactly you need. Maybe this is very difficult, and for the information of the speakers here, and if our Pradeep Multani is hearing, I would request him to keep this in mind. I personally feel that a lot of psychological changes have to be done at the medical fraternities side. Suppose I eat Ayurvedic medicine also for last many years since childhood. However, fortunately, my general practitioner, who is a friend of mine for the last 50 years and a very able doctor, he doesn't mind. But he tells me when he takes me to a specialist to get a checkup, he says, don't mention Ayurvedic. This man will throw you out of the room, number one. Number two, when it comes to homeopathy, our friend mentioned PGI, Chandigarh. He says, one doctor told me, if you have to practice, if you have to eat homeopathy, please don't enter my room next time. So as a patient, I'm confused. What do I do? But I personally feel I'm just is a divine's will that I have a friend who's a doctor and a very able doctor. He allows me all pathies. He says, you do what you like, but you don't discuss with me. Even he puts a limitation. He says, don't try to convince me this pathy, that pathy. If this particular medicine suits you, fine, fine. I have no objection. But as far as I am concerned, you eat this medicine if you have any problem. This is the allopathic medicine. I only know allopathy treatment. And he's a very senior doctor. He just finished from one of the very able, he was in PGI. And all I can say is that it is a very difficult task for a person like me. And I personally feel, Vivek, Sehgal, you must organize this. If Pradeep is here, you must organize how a patient, this, I think what Dr. Nigam said, one umbrella should be there. And I have been dreaming that there could be one umbrella. I once tried about 30 years back to bring a collaboration with a Japanese company who wanted what they call it a holistic approach. And they called it alternative sciences and oriental sciences. They named oriental sciences. We wanted to set up a wellness center so that any kind of treatment, it could be acupressure, it could be anything in the world, it should cure. And I happened to meet a lady who was doing so much research, and she had spent a lot of money. She was the daughter of the film, what is it, Konica film, his daughter, and she had plenty of money to spend in doing research. Unfortunately, the project could not materialize, and now I request a PhD, somehow or the other, follow what the last speaker has said. As a patient, I am not concerned whether it is allopathy or Ayurvedic, but they cannot see eye to eye. I have to keep it a secret that I am taking Ayurvedic medicines. Fortunately, I am able to do it till now. I have to do as if I am doing some illegal thing by eating the Ayurvedic medicine or homeopathy medicine. Is kind of, so I am sharing more as a, I am involved in outer living. Arvind is gone, and our Guruji promotes more of Ayurvedic, but he says you will take homeopathy also. However, I must say, I have known Siri for the last 20 years, and I've looked after his interest in this region also. I've traveled with him, but I have heard him telling me and telling many people, you have any problem, please go for a test. And these tests are what? They are the modern medicine tests. Allopathy has the weapon of surgical and the diagnostic power. And the first thing is asked is, Ashok ji, test kya kehta hai? If I discuss any problem with him, test kya test report kya kehti hai? So that means you have to have an open mind. I don't want to take more time. I'm little, I think, off the track what you people perhaps have discussed, but I am posing what, forget about whether I am chairman of this outer living or this or past president of PhD, that forget about it. You treat me as if I am a simple patient who wants to be treated, that's all. I'm not concerned in promoting either A, B, C, D. I just want to be well, that's all. And I think the last slide which I saw, fortunately, gives a very clear picture. You need all pathies, but also the way of life Ayurveda. I think that's very pertinent. I thank you, Vivek, for giving me the opportunity of being here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your kind remarks. And we have made a note of all your suggestions. and we will definitely take them forward. And yes, as you rightly said, and that's exactly what I think Dr. Harsh Nigam also talked about, that it's all all pathies who have to work together and, make sure that we
Maybe
at
it's
the
a
end.
visual thing. Vivek, maybe it's a visual thing. I don't know, because they don't see eye to eye. One doctor told me, of a very senior, I won't name the institution. He said, "You first stop your Ayurvedic medicines for 1 month, then come to me, ask for any treatment." So very, very difficult. It's a very, very tough task, I must admit.
Yeah, I think Dr. Nigam wants to say something.
Thank you, Ashokji, for your encouragement, number one. Number two, my dream since the beginning has been that the power or the of choosing the right, the choosing the policy should not rest on the patient. The judgment should rest on the unprejudiced doctor. He should tell you what is the right pathy for you. For this, as you rightly put, we have to change the psychology of the doctors, and you have to take them. Your educational system has to change. The medical educational system has to change in a way that these young boys, they have to be told that there are advantages of every patient and they have bigger days. And this is a need where AYUSH classes have to be added to the medical curriculum, which is very important. And medical diagnostics are to be added to the AYUSH curriculum, which is again very important. This is something which needs to be worked out by NIO. You rightly pointed out the psychology has to change. And the older generation has now gone past. We are looking at the new generation, Generation Z, they have to change. And once they change, the change is going to come.
Yes, we are all hoping so. And that's the exact thought process, as I said, when we talked about mainstreaming AYUSH, is what was at the back of our minds. And we wanted, and we still hope that, for complicated cases, whether it is in AIMS or Vedanta, it's all these streams of doctors actually sit down together and work on a particular complicated case. One. Two, we even suggested that in case a patient comes for an OPD to a allopathic doctor, and the doctor feels that no, he's not ready for antibiotics now, it's too early, he can always refer him in the same hospital to a homeopathic or a Ayurvedic doctor. And that will also reduce the resistance to antibiotics for patients. So I think Dr. Khanna, our former president, and of course, all the esteemed speakers, if we all work together, and that's the reason why we try to spread awareness about all the AYUSH systems, all of them can work together along with allopathy or modern medicine. And a lot of doctors are now slowly realizing in the modern medicine the importance and the success rates of the AYUSH systems of medicine. I would just like to call upon Professor Chaudhary in case he's still there. I think because we could not hear him completely. Sir, would you like to add anything now? I think he's got disconnected and I cannot see his tile on the screen. So with such fantastic information flowing right through the evening for almost 2 hours, time for me to do the honors to our honorable speakers. So on behalf of PhD Chamber, I'd like to thank our speakers, Dr. Anup Kumar Thakkar, Director and Vice Chancellor in charge for the Gujarat Ayurveda University, Jamnagar, for sparing his valuable time. I'd like to thank our Senior Vice President, Mr. Pradeep Multani, our former President, Dr. Ashok Khanna, and I could see a glimpse of our former president, Dr. Binay Kumarji, for being here this evening and encouraging us. My heartfelt thanks to Dr. D.B.A. Narayan, Chief Scientific Officer, Ayurveda Trust, Bangalore, to Professor Anand K. Chaudhary, Professor and Head Department of Ayurvedic Pharmaceutics at the BHU Varanasi, Dr. Harsh Kumar Verma, President, Best Ayurveda Limited, Toronto, Canada, doing a wonderful job, I guess, taking Ayurveda to the other end of the globe. And of course, Dr. Harsh Nigam, who is a MBBS physician, but now a practicing homeopathic physician who shared his thought processes with us. My thanks to Shri Arvind Varchasvi ji, our chair for the AYUSH committee, and our co-chair, Mr. Arjun Multani, for the AYUSH committee. I'd like to definitely thank the Association of Manufacturers of Ayurvedic Medicine, AMAM, and AYUSH Herbs, our sponsors, for their continuous support. And on behalf of PHDCCI, I would like to once again thank all the guest speakers, as well as our audience who has stayed with us for that long, making this webinar a true success. My heartfelt thanks also to Dr. Ravi Rathod and Amit Patwal, who have been working behind the scenes to make this webinar possible. Wishing you a lot of good health and happiness. This is Vivek Sehgal signing off. Thank you and bye-bye. Jai Hind.